So basically, it all started back in 2017 as a part of the Opera Beyond project, which was funded by Finnish Foundation, which was investigating of the different new forms of opera presentations and the ways of actually doing the art. And as a part of that work, we started to investigate also about the technical side of it and found it quite fruitful. And we made a decision of making the virtual stage back in 2019. We got it in the Unreal Engine back in 2020. And from there onwards, we actually went further on to create a sort of a fully functional digital twin of the main stage and auditorium. Going to the integrations and getting everything done so that we were able to simulate the production flow took some two years, and we took the tool into production use back in 2023. Right now we are modeling all our productions and continue the work so that we are also doing the modeling for all the public spaces of the house, and finding the sort of a new ways to use it and new ways to serve also the customers directly with the virtual services. And now basically we just started as a consortium member for the One of Horizon EU project, and we are heading towards investigating how to create the digital productions with the theatre. So right now we are actually looking under the bonnet of the opera production. The most common use cases we have for the productions are of course the visualization of the set and the simulating about how the production goes there. So simulating the switches of the scene and simulating the entries and exits of the staff and so forth. And then, of course, the projections, the lighting simulations, they are something we look into quite strongly. And the purpose of this is more like a support for the artistic team in their work so that they can kill the bad decisions before they enter to the manufacturing or at the worst case, the stage. Meaning that whenever they find an error in their storyline already way before it's designed or engineered or manufactured, it's still achieved to correct. When they find it only in the stage rehearsals, there are actually 150 people waiting for the solution for the error, and that turns quite quickly very stressful and also very expensive. Okay, I will mention about this visualizations of the easy access routes and these customer services. And of course then the other areas where we're talking about the serving customers is then the sort of the box office support. So the most common question from the box office is always, okay, how does it look from my seat? So now we try to help also that one. And then I have a small example, let's see how it works. Okay, we don't have all of it here, but basically the opera was promoting us. The initial request from the set designer was 12-meter high potato field falling down to the stage in 90 seconds as a sequence of music. Well, 12 meters is very difficult to handle in any theatrical environment, so we developed a tweak. So having a 6.8 meters high potato field plus the fire curtain, one going down and the other going up in the sequence of music, and basically being able to visualize this was something that helped the director and the set designer to make this, to approve our proposal. It took something like 20 seconds after they saw the visualization happening on the virtual stage, and that was about it. Okay, we can do this. We don't need 12 meters. It just saved us something like 50 man working months on the stage hands, plus the very expensive and difficult ways of managing the big and difficult set piece. Okay, the work is not for free, of course. So it has taken some effort, and it will take some effort to go to the digital. So you have to create the skills. You have to create have to purchase the equipment and software licenses, maintain them. Okay, you also have to figure out what kind of changes will be needed in your production process and how to educate your people to use them. Then you remember that when you go to the software, it's not a single project. It's like it's a permanent cost and permanent operation maintenance. So it requires long-term commitment from the management. And of course then you have to also overcome the will of your staff that we are doing things in a quite different way than we used to. But as a reward, you get basically much better quality of your productions, meaning that you kill the bad decisions, you buy some time, or even quite much of time for testing and tweaking different solutions within the production. You kill the expensive errors. You don't need so much changes in the rehearsal space, or typically not at all anymore. Meaning that the performers have better life. They are not stressed because okay, now we change like this. Now what happens next? So basically, they can concentrate on the rehearsals and performing during the rehearsals. After all, the number of main rehearsals with the full band and full set of soloists and choir, it's roughly 12 for one opera per performance, so they don't have too much time to actually tweak and test things around there. And of course, as a consequence, we have a sort of a living archive, because basically we are running the repertoire and pretty much all of our productions are coming back to the stage in the interval of 1 to 10 years. So once we have the sort of a vision of how it was done last time, next time actually the new teams who are doing it, they already have a record that this is the way it's done. Okay. That was it from my side, so thank you so much, and I will hand over back to Diana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hannu. We'll get back to using these tools in the working environment of performing arts in a moment, and also how to award the institutions that you're working with, because I think this is an important thing. And now we move on with Marta Génova, who's the head of digital product and experience at the Philharmonia Orchestra in London. So we are moving now to the UK, and I think you'll be talking in particular about outreach, how to leverage virtual tools to work with schools, but also much more.
Thank you, Diana. I was wondering if we could have sound for the presentations, because I think most of us have videos that we're showing. Yeah? I see thumbs up. Okay, good. Hi everyone. Like Diana said, I'm Marta Génova, head of digital production experience at the Philharmonia Orchestra. The Philharmonia is one of the world's great symphony orchestras. We are based in London and tour internationally from New York to Tokyo, have residencies from Finland to Mauritius, and we have been known to be the orchestra of innovation. We have, over the course of the last 80 years, done a vast series of innovation projects, from immersive experiences, iPad and iPhone apps, collaborations with the Royal Shakespeare Company during COVID to deliver immersive experiences to audiences in lockdown. And for the last 15 or so years, we've been focused on 360 content. So I've noticed Seb and Henry from Meta Camera are here, but we work with them using their Meta 3 and Meta 4 to capture 360 performances of the orchestra live in concert, and we showcase those in Meta Quest headsets, touring them alongside the orchestra. What we usually have done is pair the beautiful footage that Meta Camera capture with imagery that helps elevate the content of the music itself. For instance, in this slide you see how we combined the beautiful landscapes of Finland that inspired Sibelius from the Sibelius Fifth Symphony concert capture, and that's been working really well. People respond well to it. You feel like you're dropped at the heart of the music, you're in front of the conductor, you walk around the stage, and you get this beautiful spatial mix that only musicians get to experience. So the whole point of doing this has been to be able to break down barriers to the orchestral experience and to make you feel like you're one of the band, and also to see and experience the music in a way that you wouldn't otherwise be able to see and experience. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Ballet. videos speak for it first. Let's see if this works. It should have music. Eli, any tips for this? I guess they're trying to fix it. Eli, you need to click enable content on the top. There you go. So, our latest VR product is our most ambitious yet. It's an invitation to step inside the orchestra, pick up a virtual instrument and join us on stage. And this responded to feedback from our previous participants in our 360 experiences, who often would say, gosh, I feel like I'm one of the musicians, I feel like it's my turn to play. This is not working. There we go. So what it is an EdTech product that we developed with support from the Ministry of Culture in the UK. It is now being piloted in schools nationwide. It's basically an instrumental learning VR app where you choose an instrument, you get tutorials from our musicians, you practice, you rehearse, and then you're invited to perform on stage. It's a mixture of avatar-like instruments and real-life 360 footage of the musicians. Has a couple of different modes that you can choose from. So if you choose hard mode, you are playing the actual score that the musicians themselves play. If you choose easy mode, like me, I'm not a musician, you're able to follow the music much better. And at the end you get a percentage score. I thought maybe for this audience it'd be interesting to see, oh look, there's another video there. That's the host playing it, so you get a bit of a sense of what it's like. But I thought for this audience it'd be interesting to talk a little bit about the user journey. First you get a little bit of an introduction from our host, who is known as artist in residence Sega. He will guide you through the different sections of the orchestra. You will then get a choice of instrument. Now this is an MVP, so far we've only developed 3 instruments, which are percussion instruments, and the developers here will know why, because that's just creating something that's banging onto an instrument, so that's easy to create, but the ambition is that we will, of course, create a full library of instruments. Once you've done that, you get a tutorial from Tom, our percussionist from the Philharmonia, who is excellent at giving you the top tips for instrumental playing and the fundamentals of music notation. So if you don't know to read music going in, you will get basics so that you can actually follow a score during the experience. Finally, when you've practiced and rehearsed enough in the rehearsal environment, you were asked to join the orchestra, and that's the slide that you see at the bottom right. So you're in front of the conductor, you're surrounded by the musicians, it's a full house, you get the audience as well, so you have that experience. It's already really valuable of being on stage and what that feels like. It's all incredibly realistic thanks to the amazing, amazing resolution and depth of colour of the trio metaphor. And finally, you get a score. This score was not mine, 87% records. The only person who ever had got 99 or 100% was Tom, the actual percussionist. Because we've made it realistic so that you actually, it's actually quite hard. It's hard to play an instrument, so if you choose the hard mode, it shouldn't be easy. If you get over 90%, we want to hear from you and the moment at auditions. So who is it for? We developed this for schools. We also developed it alongside of it 6 weeks worth of activities for teachers, so that we deliver the headsets to them, they keep them for 6 weeks, and they use VR in combination with all the activities that we propose to teach their curriculum, the music curriculum. We also do CPD sessions, that's training sessions for teachers so that they know how to use VR. The good thing about it is that there's no need to have any specialist knowledge, either musical or in terms of using VR in the classroom. It's targeted for students in late primary and early secondary, and the reason that we made it, I have a lot of data for this, but I thought for 9 a.m. in the morning, it's a bit depressing, all the facts and figures. So let's just say in the UK we have a problem with music provision in schools. It's been very many years of austerity when it comes to culture and education. So the music take-up in schools drops off a cliff from primary to secondary. And we are a charity. Part of our charitable objectives are to create a society in which music is appreciated and valued. And if we don't act, we are losing the pipeline of musicians for the future. So this is just our way of using the 360 content that we already have to try to address that problem in our own small way. I think I've spoken for long enough. We think this could be a step change. We're working with the Arts Council to try and deploy it in as many schools as possible. And like I said, the ambition is that eventually we would scale this up and create as many instruments as we can. I can talk more about this at the questions, but I think I've used up my time, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marta. And now we'll move to Spain with Carlos Ochoa Fernandez, who's the founder and advisor at One Digital Consulting, who will be telling us about very interesting projects, including one on how we get to see the process, the creative process in the mind of from the idea to reality, I believe so.
Thank you so much. And sorry, I have to stand up because I cannot stay sitting there to explain and to go faster. Yeah, I feel more comfortable when I'm close to you. It's part of my journey. So what I'm going to, well, first of all, I would love to say something that for me is really a pleasure to be here with this amazing lineup. And one thing which is very important, we have the content. We are the owners of the content. We create the context and we use the tools to engage the audience. So this is the European value. And this is something that is very, very complex to produce, and we got it. So I think this can demonstrate the value of the technology when we own the content. And to create this kind of content is not easy. You will saw, I've been talking with Hannu for a lot of time, so it's the first time I meet these guys, but it's really incredible what they are doing. So what I'm going to talk is about my personal journey. So I'm always an amateur of everything. So I'm a musician, I love jazz, I love rock and roll. And for me, Bob Dylan is a reference. When the people talk about the storytelling, Bob Dylan is the reference. This is why he has a Nobel Prize. So today we cannot see people like them. Yesterday when arrived here by plane, I was watching the film, completely sorry. It's completely amazing, and it's not immersive, it's a film. So this is something that I want to share with you. I'm a jealous guy, I'm a happy guy, because I've been working with people like Alan Malikian, ukulele. 10 years ago, we did the first performance with ukulele, which is a reference worldwide in photography, painter, and the connection between music and immersive technologies. She was painting in a live stage with tilt brass using the music of Concierto de Aranjuez, which was an absolutely brilliant and emotional experience. With Chema Vilchev, which is one of the most incredible guitarists, and we produced the reconstruction of the Islamic city of Unka, and the music of Chema Vilchev help you to understand what is the feeling, the perception, how you can enter in the ancient cities and to feel what the ancient people lived in that time. And I will talk about Alan Malikian, which is one of my passions. So I think there is a video here. It's not working. Sorry, I need the video. No? The video. Yes, because the video is part of my life. And I want to share this video because you are going to get the perception how we want to engage the audience and to feel without being there, which is like a part of the magic. I know that it's in the previous one. No, previous one. Yeah, the previous one. Yes, the video is here. It's connected here. Yes. We need sound because it says Tchaikovsky, and without Tchaikovsky we cannot understand anything. Oh my God.
It's worth waiting for Tchaikovsky.
You mean? Okay. Okay, in this video what we want to transmit is how we can use the advanced immersive technologies with virtual worlds, okay? And the connection, and how we can present this in hybrid concerts and in hybrid performance, which is really complex, and is the last minute I want to talk about that. So, with Vivaldi, we created a new experience. For me, it was an amazing experience to collaborate together with Alan Malikian, one of the most famous violinists in the world, the highest school of music, Reina Sofia, and Vivaldi. For me, it was really the magic connection. So when we get this project, we said we have to create magic, and this is something that we invest a lot. So the thing is how we can create this process, and the process, the workflow to create this process is really complex. I'm not going to go into the detail, but when we have more than 20 tasks where you have to integrate data capture, volumetric capture, 368K videos, and bisonic sound. For us, something that is really relevant and is main is to create, to maintain the authenticity of the music and the values of the authors and the curators. This is a must. This is not karaoke, this is not a video transparency, so this is authentic. And to create trust is very important in the way that you are going to transmit it. So we were working more than 50 people in this project, 30 musicians and more than 20 people working from the States. Our developer team is in California, our creative staff is in France, and the video and sound staff is in Madrid. So what we create is we were working together with Ara Malikian and the School of Music to create a script. And only 1 minute to say that when the script was finished and we were testing for 4 days on where to put the cameras, where to put the mix, just to create the real ambience. When we started to make to record the session, Ara Malikian came to me and said, "Sorry, Carlos, I cannot say that words. So this script is not close to the soul." I said, "What can we do now?" So everything was ready. And we start from scratch. We recreate the complete screen from our perception. So this was absolutely online in real time, you know. So the thing was amazing. You can see how many people was working. We recorded 6 concerts just to have the best performance in every time. Because when Ara Malikian or everybody plays live, the perception is different than when they play only for the cameras. So, and something that was very important was the connection with the musicians. So we were testing if everything that we were recording and everything that we were producing was core and was close with the idea that he was doing. Only one thing, Ara Malikian has been playing for more than 4,000 concerts for kids. 4,000 concerts for kids. So we have to maintain all this. And something that was relevant was the studio. We have an incredible studio. We have a very good staff. So this was something very important because otherwise he was not going to allow us to show the project. And then we need to create the magic where you are going to visualize or you are going to, I don't know if it's work. Yes, it works. So we need to create the magic, and the magic came from the original verse from Antonio Vivaldi. So what we recreated was 4 natural portals where the musicians were going to play inside. So the connection with the nature was absolutely important for us because we don't hear music, we inhabit inside the space. And the connection between nature and music was important and relevant just to engage the people and to feel and to the values of that. So every place has an history, and when you are inside you can play an instrument, you can play with the nature. So you need to discover by yourself. No text, no signals. So it's an open world where you have to navigate and discover everything by yourself. I don't know now. Okay. So one thing that comes to me when I hear the people talking about the experience economy is that, okay, we develop an immersive experience that is unique. It's unique, but always is the same. The thing is how we can create unique experiences that you can see or visit several times, and the perception that you get is different. And this is the way that we are working too much. So the thing is that one thing that was core was the connection with Ara Malikian, because this was very, very important, and I will tell you what we are doing right now with him. The other thing, and I will go faster, I don't want to take much time, is how we can analyze the different audiences and how we can deliver the different products, let's say that way, to the different audiences. Originally, it was developed for kids and students, We are working with the School of Music Reina Sofia during the last 5 years, and more than 10,000 students and more than 100 schools already have been working with these experiences. And this experience is only a part of the complete class, because we have master classes, we have training classes, so this is part of the experience, and this is one thing that we are working. Another thing that we are really proud is that last year we won 3 Poly Awards from the Academy of Science and Arts in New York, and we were finalists in the AUI Awards, so at least Vivaldi for us is really a worldwide reference. So, well, we have a very good impact. We used to record every session. We have a lot of TPIs just to see how we can improve. We are with the 3rd version right now that will be presented in the new Pico devices, taking the advantages of these devices. So I go faster to this. And the team, something that is important, that the team needs to understand what you want to transmit. And this is something very important. We have Causa and Christie, that is one of most amazing teams in the world developing experiences in VR. They are part of our core. Virtual-wise, which is, they are experts in 360 video. Spatial Networks, which is Andy Fidel, maybe you know her. We work very close to her, and for sure the people of Pico and HP that give us a lot of support. And AR Future, that is a 3D motion capture company in Spain that work together with us. Okay, 2 seconds to find, no, less than 2 seconds. Symphony of Five Cents is our last project that last week we were selected by the FIBAS festival in Toronto for the official sector, and we are in many indie festivals because we want to transmit these experiences of classical music to the audience. What you have seen here is part of the virtual world where you can navigate, you can play with the instruments, you can discover nature. And last but not least, this is my, I think, I don't know how to say it, but this is my focus for the next year, is the cartography of musical creation. So we already created an immersive script together with Ara Malikian to performance live the creative process by himself. And this is something that we want to make it in XR, but also to produce it in big events. So the experience is all the creative process, from the mind to the exhibition and so on. And we are studying how we can replicate this in the way that all this process can be transmitted to the people. Sorry, because I try to make it faster. So lessons learned, technology phase, emotion remains, and final reflection, the future belongs to the meaningful experience. And as I told you, we have the content, we are the context, and you are the audience, and we have the technology. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Carlos. It was very interesting because you touched already on topics also like workflow, when you think about the distribution, who you distribute the works to. And now we'll move back to another performing arts organization in Paris, now the Paris National Opera, with Marie Bagot. Marie Bagot, who is digital and innovation project manager, and she'll tell us a bit more about some projects that they have been working on.
Thank you, Génova. Thank you, Carlos. So a quick word about our approach to innovation. We use innovation as a way to reach new audiences and to renew our audiences, and more like an easier entry door to the opera and ballet world, especially the lyrical world. For example, we launched a platform called ARIA. It is a free platform in which you can have educational and also fun content about ballet and opera to discover it in another way. And we also launched our streaming platform called Paris Opera Play with more than 300 contents and some exclusive series in order to broaden the opera regionally and also internationally. So innovation is also a way to explore new formats. We launched our NFT project back in 2023. We had a digital art initiative 2 years ago, and we also launched a webtoon series last year that is part of another cultural storytelling. What about immersive technologies now? For us, it's a way to reveal the unseen, like to see behind the curtain, to highlight the craftsmanships in the opera, and it's also a way to create a stronger emotional connection with the audience. So our objective at the Paris Opera is to launch one new immersive experience a year. I will talk about the one we did last year and the one we are about to launch in July. So the first one, La Magie Opéra Étrange, was distributed last summer at the Ballet. And so in this experience you will step into the shoes of opera extras, following Celeste, a young singer about to take stage in 3 main operatic words, Tosca, Rusalka, and also Carmen. There is a small trailer. Okay, perfect. But without the song. Sorry, there were no English subtitles. We targeted a wide audience, mainly families and opera and tech lovers, and also tourists, because the experience was offered for visitors of the Ballet. We did a co-production contract with Bagot, that is the production studio, and also with Bagot that financed part of it and distributed it in Asia. So as I told you, it's a multi-user VR experience with 12 simultaneous users, spectators. It is about 25 minutes experience, and the setup was quite heavy. We had 64 square meters set up, and also in order to have interactions with the environment between the spectators. And the technology we use were Bifocus 3 VR headsets connected to PC Media Stream. The price was 39 euros, that included the ticket for the visit. We were quite happy with the results. We had more than 200,000 sales revenues, but we didn't reach profitability. That's why we need the experience to live beyond the walls of the Paris Opera. There are some venues in France where you can test the experience, and there is a distribution agreement that Backlight took with HTC to distribute it in Asia. In the summer there will be a collaboration with the government, the French government, to see the experience. And we were very proud to be selected to some festivals, especially the La Mostra di Venezia. Even if we didn't win any prize, it was the first recognition by our peers and also internationally. But we still won a prize at the European XR Awards, the Best Visual Experience prize. So the second experience that we are about to launch is called Dans les pas d'une étoile. In English, it's in the footsteps of an étoile dancer. So we are following Bleuren Battistoni, that is a tour dancer at the Paris Opera, through her journey at the Palais Garnier, from her arrival to her dance classes, and also to the costume fittings, the stage, and even the rooftop. So we are using Apple Vision Pro headsets for this 10-minute experience. So there is a small teaser about it. So for this project, we did also a co-production contract with Init Lab, that is the production studio. The price for this experience is 12 euros. You can only buy your tickets on site, only for visitors of the Palais Garnier that already have an admission ticket for the visit. So we decreased a bit the price compared with La Magie Opéra, but we increased the duration of the distribution of the Ballet to 5 months this time, in order to maybe reach profitability this time. As for the setup, you can have 10 simultaneous spectators, and so as I told you before, it is available only on Apple Vision Pro headsets that it would film during 2 days at the Paris Opera in 180 degrees. Yesterday with the press conference, I only had time to grab 1 glass of champagne, unfortunately, before rushing to get my train, to catch my train, but I heard it went well. People are very touched by the way they can almost touch the artist. There is a sense of proximity with the artist that is quite impressive, and I hope everything will be okay for this new experience that will be launched on the 1st of July. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marie, and it made me want to see all of these experiences, and maybe we can talk later about how we can experience them. It was interesting, I think, because we went through very different aspects of developing an immersive piece, from distribution, workflows, and much more. And before moving to a more open conversation moment, I'll be very brief with my part, where I'll be talking about funding and supporting these works. Thank you. So Fedora is an organization based in Paris, in the Paris National Opera. It's okay. I can wait. I can in the meantime. Thank you. It is okay. So Fedora has been founded 13 years ago, and it's an organization based in the Paris National Opera. We are independent, but we collaborate on certain topics. And the focus of Fedora is to support innovation in opera and dance, meaning that we support opera dance in the right ways. Of course, funding is essential. And we do have, actually, I'll skip some slides, I'll go straight to this part. So Fedora, from the beginning, has prizes that we attribute to new works that are in the making. So a new opera piece, a new dance choreographic work, and then for education and digital. It's a bit different, but the goal here is to bring private funding to the performing arts sector, and therefore each one of the categories of our prizes is privately funded, and our goal is to build new relationships between the private sector and the performing arts as a whole at the European level and beyond, but our focus remains the European Union for now, because including the UK in all of our prizes and so on, and because we are funded also by the European Union for operations. So we have this mixed model that we also want to encourage performing arts organizations to look at. So funding models where you have, of course, ticket sales, but you're also looking into other possibilities. For example, developing immersive experiences in-house, which is not yet, I mean, there are more and more theaters looking into it, but still there are some innovators in the sense. And in particular, our digital prize focuses on the development of new works that are related to either opera or dance. It can be virtual reality, but it could also be video installation, using holograms, and much more. So it remains quite open as a category. And we actually have a call for applications open right now. And each one of the categories is sponsored by a different private company that has no role in the selection of the project. So they leave the jury, that is one independent jury per category, to make the selection of the project. And on the other hand, we have the next stage grants, which are also giving funding but also support for performing arts organizations. In terms of sustainability, inclusion, and digital transformation in the performing arts sector, so encouraging organizations to develop new tools. For example, Finnish National Opera and Ballet was a recipient of this grant in 2022, and we will have again another call in the beginning of 2027. And the goal is to support performing arts organizations that are working together, for example, with a tech company that is developing a tool that will be useful for them in-house, but also hopefully for the sector as well. So working together with other theaters, performing arts organizations, and so this is focusing on sustainability, inclusion, and digital transformation as well. And again, it is privately funded. So now we have the call for applications open, so if you're interested, please feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to discuss any projects that you might have in the making. And this is the timeline of prizes. I'll not get into it, but basically the call is open until end of July. And yes, and yeah, happy to hear from any of you. This is about the criteria, or I won't go into detail, but for most recent prize winners, very different projects. We had, for example, in 2021, the Finnish National Opera. That although it is a national opera, it remains, I mean, it was created in 2017, so it's quite recent as a national institution. They had developed a community virtual opera, so they worked across Ireland to develop a piece that lasts about 20 minutes. And then we have, for example, Some Voice, which is focusing on people who had tracheostomy, so they lost their voices, and how to, I mean, it's talking about identity once you've lost your physical voice, I mean, the original voice that is so connected to identity, and how, yeah, you build or you construct the same identity but with a different voice, or how, yeah. So it's quite sensitive topics, and we'll have the premiere of the winner of 2025 edition in August at Regensburg Spiele at the end of August. Yeah, I'll leave it there, but Extra Stage so was one of the next stage recipients. And but I'm happy to talk about anything later on, because I think we are short on time. And actually, because we are short on time, maybe we'll agree that we open for questions instead of so thank you for your attention, and do you have questions for us? Otherwise, I have no questions, but I'm happy to hear from you. Please.
I just I didn't get from the start of the first try, but I'm working for Visual University. It's a 360 go.
1 second.
Yeah.
Can you state who you are?
Exactly. Hello, I'm Katoenhuis from Museum van Diversum in The Hague. We're a museum and a 360 dome. It's with a place for about 300 people. I'm very curious when I see, I arrived late because of the strike. I'm curious if which of the VR experiences could be brought to immersive cinema. Because we now do live streams of opera and dance from London, but well, I think we can broaden it up.
the goals that we have at the Philharmonia is to put to use the amazing 360 performances that we've got in our portfolio. And I've been looking at all sorts of different ways to exploit them. One of them was creating this interactive experience for schools, but it's very interesting that you should mention that because the other strand that we're looking at is a full dome tour of a selection of all of our 360 performances. And I think that's a really, really interesting way to experience it because there's something, I love the art. I think there's nothing that compares to the sense of immersion that you get when you wear a headset and you're there with the musicians. But you can lose a little bit of the communal experience that a concert often has. So I think full dome is a very nice bit of that to do that.
So they can get in touch with you.
Hit me up.
Yeah, I can add something. When we developed the project of music with 5 senses, one of the parts of the program was to work in hybrid concerts. That means that originally was recorded with a complete orchestra, but every single day in the School of Music they have an auditorium that is open for everybody. So the idea was to create content that can be replicated in LED screens, and the musicians are interacting with harmonically. So when we built up this experience, we were thinking in this possibility. That means that the original content, the virtual walls, were created with one resolution for the VR headset and with another resolution without changing anything at all, okay, for the hybrid concert. One thing that is important, as you mentioned, is that when you have to put all this content inside the headset, for us it's very important that it has to be offline. That means that it has to be accessible to everybody without Wi-Fi restrictions or problems of communication. That means that to put all this content in the headset is really tough because you need to compress everything without losing quality, which is really a must. So it is a lot of work. But you have, when you are going to define your workflow, you have to think about which are the media where you are going to present or visualize your system. It is very important to prevent duplicate new project. It costs a lot of money.
I think we have another question here. Can you stand up? Say who you are.
Yeah, hi, my name is Ash. I work in the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the UK. I'm really curious about how you guys, musicians and creatives, approach business modeling, especially as a Brit, curious about how the Philharmonia do it with the UKRI. Are you looking at the business model first and creativity second because sustainability matters, or are you creatives through and through and figure it out later? I'm just curious.
It's a $1 million question, isn't it? We've done both. I prefer figuring out the business model first. Sometimes an opportunity arises where there's a pot of money and it sort of aligns with what you want to do and you go for it and you get it. And that is sort of what happens with this Williams Helm experience. Where we were already thinking of doing it and production was accelerated and catalyzed by great funding. We had to develop the whole thing in 8 weeks, which is no time at all. But I think it's important to be flexible and be realistic about the way that R&D funding works actually that's also a reason, I hope I'm not rambling, but it is connected. It's also a reason to capture at the highest possible resolution, because otherwise it dates so quickly, and then it goes, and there's no business model, there's nothing. You can't use something that's really from 10 years ago anymore. But yeah, I guess in answer to your question, obviously, ideal blue sky scenario, you think about business model, you go find your partnerships, tech partnerships, funding, R&D, and you take it from there. It rarely works like that. And I don't know if this is relevant for the whole room, but the R&D funding landscape in the UK is fantastic. And then it gets very problematic when you go into distribution and exploitation, as I'm sure you know. Sorry, I was on.
Thank you, Marta. So, just to precise something, I just looked at the results, but I didn't say the initial budget. It was for the production was more than 450,000. So the production studio lost money, actually. So we at the institution we bring the industry part, the venue and everything, and also our creation vision and artistic impact. But actually, that's very important to fix the budget and also the business model before launching everything. That's why for the second experience, we thought about it a bit further. The price was very important, and also the duration of the distribution of the event. So, and also the fundings. The public fundings are very important, especially for a small production studio. And yes, for this time, we didn't have any public funding for the last experience, so hopefully we will reach, hopefully for the production studio, also for us actually, we will reach profitability thanks to the 5 months of distribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Marie. I think we are at the end of the session, but just a note, Hannu and I will be here tomorrow for the, I think it's on main stage for a round table, so we can discuss then about topics we could not discuss about, and otherwise I think we would all be happy to continue the conversation after. Thank you very much.